From the Mineral King Bowl in Visalia, Tulare High School football is on the air tonight. It is the Tulare Western Mustangs against the Redwood Rangers, and tonight's game is brought to you by Rich Photography. Remember, it's not too early to plan for your Christmas portraits. Rich Photography in Tulare by Round Table Pizza. Look for money-saving coupons in the Tulare Advance Register. Also brought to you by Merlestone Chevrolet, where they make car buying fun. Merlestone Chevrolet in Tulare. By Ely Auto Parts for fast expert service with Napa Parts. It's Ely Auto Parts in Tulare. Also brought to you by Dennis Beck's Hamilton's Pharmacy. Always daily specials and friendly service at Dennis Beck's Hamilton's Pharmacy in Tulare. And by Frank's Liquor, with a great selection of wines, video cassettes, and more. You'll say thanks, Frank, to Frank's Liquor in Visalia. And brought to you by Santa Fe Tire and Wheel in Visalia. Good evening once again, everybody. Bill Roberts along with Dave Keller. And tonight, a clash between the Mustangs of Tulare Western and the Redwood Rangers. The Rangers 1-0, the defending Valley champs, coming off a big win over Wenatchee, 48-7. The Mustangs 0-1 with a loss to Edison last week by a score of 14-6. The captain's out at midfield, and Dave, this looks to be an interesting matchup. One of the keys for Tulare Western, they'll be going without their experienced starting quarterback. Ricky Ortiz is out for, it looks like, maybe a month or so. The sophomore Miguel Salazar will be starting and going against a very tough Redwood Ranger team.
Well, that's a pretty tough situation, Bill. You have a Tulare Western team that has scored only 6 points last week in a 14-6 loss to Edison, and then you, of course, lose the starting quarterback and put in a sophomore as a substitute. Normally, a normal coach might feel a little bit down in the dumps about this, but I talked to Pat Plummer today, and he was very enthusiastic about the situation. He knows Redwood is a good team, but at the same time, he feels that Miguel Salazar can do a good enough job that if the rest of the team does its part, there definitely is a good chance for the Mustangs to play a fine ball game tonight.
Well, the Mustangs, as you say, will be going against some very strong players in Redwood. They have virtually all of their, what the so-called skill positions are returners, but maybe a weakness for them is possibly their lines, but that goes both ways. Both teams are a little bit inexperienced on the line. We have down on the field, it looks like Redwood has received will be receiving the kickoff after winning the toss of the coin. Another thing I wanted to mention, Dave, for Redwood, they're very strong, not only running, but in passing. They have the 1982 leading scorer in the area. Last year, Tom Norman, he had a couple of touchdowns in that big game, and as we noticed down on the field, Adam Muniz throwing the bombs, warming up. He's a very fine quarterback. That could give the Mustangs some trouble tonight.
Muniz looked like the kind of guy where when you go after a pattern, you make sure you're looking when he throws the ball. If you're looking the wrong way and he catches you, it could really hurt. He throws an exceptionally hard, very sharp spiral, one of the stronger arms we've seen. One of the Redwood people down the way was telling me before the game that last week Muniz got kind of tangled up with a heavy rush and then had to step up and threw a bullet some 40 or 50 yards downfield that barely got off the ground. And he's that kind of passer with the exceptionally strong arm. He, as you said, has outstanding receivers to go with that. However, what Pat Plummer likes about this game, from the Western point of view, is the matchups. Where Western has problems, Redwood also has some inexperience. Now, Redwood has all that talent at quarterback and receiver, but at the same time, that's where Western is strong in the defensive backs with Hinojosa and Anaya, and he feels he can match up well with them and hold on because of that.
And as you can see, both teams are getting ready, just about ready to set this one off here for the Mustangs, looking for their first win of the season. Redwood looking to go 2-0, and remember, they were the Valley champs. They are the defending Valley champs, and again, a very strong-looking team for the Redwood Rangers. So we're just about set to go. Tuesday night football on Sequoia Cable Community Channel 24, and with the play-by-play, here's Dave Keller.
Thank you very much, Bill. We're set for the kickoff. Robert Perales will kick it off to Pyle and to Martin down deep for Redwood. The Rangers will move from our left to our right. There's Perales getting his foot into it, and it's coming down the middle of the field, taken on about the 13-yard line there by Pyle. Pyle upfield, comes to the near sideline. He's across the 20, tries to spin away from one man and goes down on the 25. Tackle is made there for Tulare Western by Marlon Morrow. That's where Redwood takes over, 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line.
Dave Muniz last week was 11 for 15, 177 yards. He's a 3-year starter. He's something that the Rangers will have to concern themselves about tonight because he's a very fine quarterback and has lots of things that these Rangers can do.
2 receivers off to the left side, the far side. That's Tom Norman and Mike Donald. The backs are split. And the quarterback, Muniz, calls the signals. He drops straight back to pass, has a fairly heavy rush, throws now over the middle. It's complete out of the 35-yard line. Grabbed there by Tom Norman. And it should be a first down if it's marked out just past the 35 at the 36. And that it is, 1st and 10 for Redwood. Tackle there by Jim Parker for the Mustangs. Muniz on that one dropped straight back to pass. He didn't turn. He just walked or trotted straight backwards. Now the back split. It is Gonzalez and Martin in the backfield. Muniz hands off this time to Martin. Martin tries the right side. Doesn't get too much. He's out to the 39-yard line before he's wrapped up by the left side of the defensive line for the Mustangs. Jim Parker leading the charge. Parker, one of the athletes of the week this week, had an outstanding game against Edison. And, of course, plays both ways quite often for the Mustangs, playing both at a linebacker spot and also at center. All-league selection last year, so really everything. He's a man the Mustangs really count on. Wide to the near side comes Kevin Hogan. Hogan listed as a tight end, and he will come out to a wide receiver spot on the near side. Backs again split on 2nd down and 7. And give on a draw, this time to Gonzalez. Big hole. He's across the 45 and out to midfield. Goes down in Tulare Western territory at the 49-yard line. Morrow making the tackle from his linebacker spot for Tulare Western. Pick up a 13 and a first down for Redwood.
And a big hole opened up by that strong Redwood line. They are fairly new up front, as both these teams, offensively and defensively. Really, the returners are on those skilled offensive positions for the Rangers. But that time they opened up a big hole, and Redwood is on a roll.
The tight end, Kajioka, lines up on the right side. Scratch that, make that Pat Wallace lining up on the right side. 2 receivers wide to the far side, the left side. First down and 10 in Western Territory. The Rangers have it. Give to Gonzalez. Breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. It gets down inside the 45 to the 43. Tackle by Hinojosa. And he had help from Adolfo Salazar. 2nd down. So far, the Rangers having good success.
Redwood passing on that first down and getting another first down, but they've been so successful on the ground, they may not need to go to the air for a while. They're getting some strong blocking up front, and the running game going very, very well so far for the Rangers.
Tom Norman to the near side, and that's Hogan on the far side. Backs in the I formation this time. First man is Gonzalez, tries the left side, doesn't get much. He's down to the 40. He was wrapped up there by Jim Parker. Parker made a nice tackle. Gonzalez is supposed to be extremely strong, and Parker got on him from behind and was able to haul him down. Sets up a 3rd down and very short yardage on the 40-yard line. 3rd and, I would say just slightly less than a yard, but very close to a yard. Mustangs have not beaten Redwood in the tenure of Coach Pat Plummer, and he will hope to do that tonight for the first time. Backs in the eye, 3rd and short. Muniz straight ahead. He's got the first down, and a couple more down to the 38, maybe even closer to the 37. He went straight ahead. It didn't even look like he even veered off of the center at all. He went straight up the middle and got the first down, did Muniz.
Well, the Rangers taking this opening kickoff and driving, chewing up the clock down to 8:55 to go in the first quarter. And so far, very successfully on the ground. Only 1 pass thrown by the Rangers so far.
Acosta, the tight end, lines up on the left side. The backs are split this time. 2 receivers to the near side. On first down and 10 for Redwood. Muniz looking for a quick out. And he's got an incomplete pass over there on the 30-yard line, intended for Donald. In a host of the coverage for Tulare Western. 2nd down and 10. 8:39 to go, first quarter, no score. Redwood with their first drive of the game. And Pat Plummer told me today that he felt that the size of the lines was a little more equal this time than it had been in recent years. Redwood often has a team that is substantially bigger in size, in addition to being bigger in number, but especially bigger in size on the line than Tulare Western. He felt this time it would be a little closer. But so far, Redwood's had pretty good success on this drive. 2 receivers to the near side. That's Donald and Norman. Backs in the I formation on 2nd and 10. The quick out again by Muniz, and it's incomplete. That play was obviously a foul up on somebody's part, and it would be either Norman or the quarterback Muniz, but Norman did not go out. Muniz looking to throw it out at about 7 yards. Hinojosa had the coverage. A simple down out, much like the incomplete pass thrown just moments ago. 3rd down and 10.
And we'll keep a watchful eye on Muniz. The fine quarterback for the Rangers is now 1 for 3 in the game so far. And as you said, Dave, that last one, it was just a misconnection. Looked like it was going to be the same as the previous, but the receiver just kept going down the field.
Just about hit the referee, but didn't really come close to anybody else. Backs are split on 3rd down and 10. A passing situation for Muniz, who drops straight back. Deep drop, has time. Throws to the far sideline. It is bobbled and held on to. A completion down on the 21, but there's a flag down. Nice catch over there by Donald, but there is a flag down. We'll see what that's all about. It would be a gain of 13 yards, make that 16 yards, but it's going to be a penalty against a pass interference penalty against Western. And that being the case, I would imagine they will just simply take the reception down to the 21-yard line.
Scanning the field, Dave, it looked like Redwood had a few receivers open, and they are going to decline the penalty and take that first down right there, a gain of some 18 yards on the play, all the way down to the 21. But Muniz had some good protection, and he had 2 or 3 people open, had his choice, and delivered the ball right on target for the first down.
Well, when you can throw like that, you don't need a big opening. By no means was the Mustang defender really beaten that badly. It's just simply a matter of Muniz can get the ball there so quickly that if there's any kind of opening, he can take advantage of it. The back split on 1st down and 10 from the 21. Wide receiver Norman to the near side. Muniz looking for that quick out again. He throws a lob for the right corner of the end zone. Overthrown, just incomplete. Hinojosa out there on the coverage. They're really working on Andy, and he is such an accomplished performer that they may have a tough time picking much on him. The man they may look to go to eventually is Frank Leal. Leal is a sophomore, and when you've got Anaya and Hinojosa out there, I can imagine that eventually you would feel that they would not be the two that you'd want to go against. Leal has a lot of ability, a star on that freshman team from last year for Western, but again, he's a sophomore, and certainly preferable to working on Anaya and Hinojosa. Mustangs, the 4-man front and then 4 linebackers. They gamble with the 3 defensive backs, but when you have Anaya and Hinojosa, it may not be that big a gamble. Pitch right. This comes to Martin. Martin cuts upfield, gets inside the 20, down inside the 15 to the 13. Tackled there by Mike Martino. And it should set up a 3rd down situation on the 13-yard line.
Nice block thrown by Matt Boyd on that play also for Redwood that sprung him a little bit further. And the first, I think, the first 3rd down situation we've had in this game so far. Maybe that was that other short dive. Was that on a 3rd down? This may be the.
Well, we had a
one.
3rd down and 10. Remember the great complete by Muniz. Muniz gives straight ahead to Martin, and Martin has the first down inside the 10. Pickup of 5 on the play for 1st down and goal for Redwood. Jim Parker, the tackle for the Mustangs. That play, a nice fake by Muniz. Muniz handed it off and then continued to fake to his other running back, Gonzalez, and that was very effective. Ball is placed on the 9, so 1st down and goal from the 9. Wide receivers coming to the near side. That's Kevin Hogan and Mike Donald. And the backs are split on 1st and goal from the 9. Muniz hands off to Gonzalez. Gonzalez tries to hurdle the line of scrimmage, does not get far. Got down maybe to the 8-yard line. Jim Parker got in there to wrap him up and a couple others. Parker from that linebacker position has the ability to get all over the field, and oftentimes in football things are working the way they should. One of your inside linebackers should be your leading tackler on the team, and I would be very surprised if Parker was not the leading tackler on this team. And he does that from the ability to cover a great deal of ground and from playing a position that leads to that frequently.
I'm going to underline Parker's name a few more times here.
I won't have to. I will learn that number quickly this year. 2nd down and goal from the 8. Backs are split, 2 receivers on the near side. Muniz has the ball on his hip still, steps up in the pocket, throws in the end zone, touchdown Redwood. David Acosta, the tight end, catches the touchdown pass from Muniz from 8 yards out, and Redwood goes out in front 6-0. 6:19 to go in the first quarter. Muniz really put a lot on that ball. And the tight end Acosta, who has a good reputation as a fine player as well, was able to hold on to that. Place kicker Tom Norman will kick out of the hold of Muniz, which of course always leaves you the option of doing all kinds of things when you have a quarterback. And there it is, Muniz rolling to the near sideline, looks to throw in the end zone, incomplete. It was catchable, although it would have been a tough catch. He went back to Acosta, the tight end, who caught the touchdown, and it went through his hands. It would have taken a great catch. Defense by Hinojosa over there. And Hinojosa did a good job. He was right with Acosta to an extent that Muniz really had to throw the ball outside and keep it away from Hinojosa, and that led to the incomplete. But if you're Redwood, you can't be too discouraged. They took the ball and went right downfield, having only one even shaky situation. They went to 3rd and 10 at one point. Other than that, they were in control the whole way, and with 6:19 to go in the first quarter, lead 6-0.
They made it look easy. Tonight, Sequoia Cablevision, Community Channel 24, Tuesday Night Football. And, of course, you can hear and see all the games from the previous Friday on Tuesday nights, and also hear Friday night's football on KCOK 1270. So 6-0, 6:19 to go first quarter, and we'll see what Tulare can do on offense.
Mustangs will get a chance to go at it now, down 6-0, and they'll need to get the offense in gear after scoring only 6 points last week. Norman will kick off for Redwood, and he's got Crawford and Anaya deep for Tulare Western. This will come to Anaya on the 3-yard line. Anaya straight upfield, looking for a hole, runs into trouble just past the 20, and pushes his way out to the 27-yard line. So give Anaya some credit on that. He ran into some problems at the 22 and was able, mostly through personal effort, to make his way out to the 27-yard line before Sal Sanchez and a couple other fellows wrapped him up. So the Mustangs with sophomore Miguel Salazar in for Ricky Ratiz. Ratiz, the senior signal caller, and he has an injury which will keep him out of action for about 1 month. In the backfield, Dennis Story is the up man in the I formation. Todd Henderson is back. Mustangs will generally stay in the I with Henderson, the tailback. And this is the give to Todd. He tries the right side, pushes over one man, gets to the outside across the 30, and out to the 40-yard line before he's brought down. Very close, or he should have a first down depending on where they spot it. Great running by Todd Henderson. And if they give him the 39-yard line, that's a gain of 11 and a first down for Tulare Western. And I had some questions for Pat Plummer today about Todd Henderson, whether a sophomore could continue that 1,000-yard legacy of great Tulare Western runners from George Jones to Ty Harrison, Lavelle Thomas, and then finally Chuck Bailey last year. And he said definitely in the future, and maybe even this year. He was very high on Todd Henderson, and boy, on that run, you really saw why. Back in the I formation, Jackson to the near side. A first down and 10 for Tulare Western. This is the give again to Henderson. Very similar play. Tries the right side, doesn't get much. Out to the 41-yard line before he's tackled by John Bianco. Bianco will go both ways for Redwood. He will also see some action on offense. That's 2nd down and 8. Pickup of 2.
It will help the cause of Salazar, the sophomore quarterback for the Mustangs, if the Mustangs can get something established on the ground, because that will put him in a lot better situation to do what he wants to do. So I think that's a big key for the Mustangs, is get that running game going. Otherwise, it could be a lot of pressure on Miguel Salazar.
Hinojosa to the near side, and Anaya flanked on the left side, the near side. Back to the I formation, 2nd and 9. Salazar in trouble, steps up, he may run with it, and he gets out to the 42-yard line. Give him a gain of 1 yard for Miguel Salazar. He was tackled there by Brent Branco. Salazar is reputed to be a little better runner than Ricky Ratiz, the starter. So there are some places where he gains some ground. In a case like that, Ratiz might have been in trouble if Salazar is indeed a better runner. He used that running ability to get out of bad trouble. I like what you said last time, Bill. If you get a situation with a quarterback like Salazar, you've got to have a situation where he's throwing when he wants to throw and not when he has to throw.
What about this situation, right?
Well, this is borderline, but you would have to think on 3rd and 7 that they'd have to be looking to throw. Single receivers to each side. Rodriguez on the near side, Jackson on the far side. Salazar back to pass, rolling out, throws upfield. He's got a man. Jackson complete. Jackson tries to get to the outside. He goes down on the 47 of Redwood. A pickup of 14 yards. And 1st and 10 for Tulare Western. So Miguel Salazar in his first pass of this ball game throws a nice completion off the spread out, and it's 1st down and 10 in Redwood territory for the Mustangs.
That was a great pattern by the receiver and a great throw by the quarterback, and Salazar looked very nice on that play. Didn't look like he was hurried at all. Had some good blocking up front, and simply just stood in there and very calmly threw it. So that's going to help him. First pass, first completion, gain of 14, and 1st down for the Mustangs.
Receivers Hinojosa and Anaya to the near side, backs again in the I. Story is the fullback. And the tailback is Todd Henderson. This is the give to Henderson, trying the right side, and he pushes his way down to about the 45-yard line. .334 to go in the first quarter, and it's second down and 9 after a pickup of 1 by Henderson. One of the things that Pat Plummer does that is a little unusual is he sends in the plays through the receivers. Now, that's not unusual, but what he does is he does it with a tandem of receivers. So you'll see Jackson and Rodriguez in the game at the same time, as you do now in place of Anaya and Hinojosa. Backs in the eye, rolling out again is Salazar, this time to the near side, throws upfield, and it's overthrown. There may be a flag, and the referee struggles to get it out of his pocket and finally throws it. That was intended for Jackson. The coverage over there, Jeff Donald. Donald did nothing intentionally, but he simply tangled his feet up with Jackson's, and that should be the 15-yard penalty, as it is in high school football, and a first down.
There are minor tangles and major tangles, and that was definitely a major tangle up there. And I don't, as you say, I don't think it was intentional at all. It just is simply a matter of if the receiver is going out and gets tripped one way or the other by the defensive back, they've got to throw it, and it was just a matter of how much that official or how fast that official could get the flag out of his pocket. But
you gotta get looser pockets.
Very odd. We've seen that problem a few times, but I think everybody in the stadium tonight knew that was going to be a pass interference, and there was no arguing at all on the part of Redwood.
Well, it was either going to be pass interference or he had an itch back there. Well, I'll tell you, it was certainly non-intentional because Salazar had overthrown that fairly badly. It was going to definitely be an incomplete. I think Donald could probably even see that, but there wasn't much he could do about it. First down and 10 on the 31. They give to Henderson, sweeping the right side. He tries to cut back upfield and goes under a sea of navy blue jerseys on about the 30-yard line. Tackled by a cast of thousands. Almost everybody on the left side got in on that. Gain of 1 yard for Henderson. Now, Henderson sooner or later will have to try running to this side. All the plays so far to him, I believe that's his fourth carry. His fourth carry, a gain of 2, and they have all been to the right side. So there may need to be some variety. Jackson over to the near side, along with Rodriguez. Backs in the I formation on second down and 8. This is the give to Henderson. Henderson straight ahead. Doesn't get too much. He breaks through the foul. He's going down the far sideline. The 20, the 10, 5. Touchdown, Tulare Western. Todd Henderson goes 29 yards in a spectacular run. Perhaps you heard me say at the start of the run, he gets wrapped up for not much gain, and then all of a sudden, there he was shooting out the other side of the file in about as fine a run as I've seen, period. It's hard to overstate that. It's the kind of run where you beg to get to see it again. I'd love to have a chance to see what he did there. It was just amazing. It looked like he was completely wrapped up, like he had no chance to get through that pile of Redwood's defensive linemen. They're large, and he got right through them. Now, here's a situation we've been waiting for. Peter Vandenbroek is on to kick, and this, according to Pat Plummer, is the first game that Peter has ever been in his life, of any kind of football game that he has ever been in. I believe he's an exchange student, and so he's a soccer-style kicker, plays soccer, needless to say. And here's the extra point attempt. It's low and blocked. So Peter appeared to have that on line. It was blocked by the middle of the line, but he'll have to get some elevation. He'll have to hit a little bit lower. But that's, you hear guys say that, they've never seen a professional football game before they get there, but almost nobody plays in a varsity football game when they've never seen one at all or even played in one.
Well, maybe he's got the little jitters out of him now. He went to the right side of the field and everything, so at least he's seen that much or in that much in practice. It was definitely low, and really didn't take much of an effort for Redwood to block it, but we'll see how he improves through the course of this game, and perhaps by the end he'll be getting those kicks just a little bit higher.
Well, we'll see how we improve with his name by the end of the year.
What did we call him?
Vandenbroek, but the program had it wrong. The program had it totally different from that. I got it as close as to what Pat Plummer gave me as I could, but even Pat and I, after talking over today, weren't sure exactly what we're going to do with that. It's one. It'll give us something to work on as the season goes along. They can't all be Parkers and Anayas or anything like that. We've got to have a few like that.
Interesting way to get a 6-6 tie. Redwood goes for the 2 points and it was no good. And then the Tulare Mustangs go for the extra point, but it's kicked too low. So 2 different ways to try to score the conversion, and both of them no good.
Oh, the 6-6 tie. Perales kicks off. This one will be very short, coming down on about the 20-yard line. It is taken there by Martin. He tries to come to the near sideline. Great tackle. Somebody got in there, and that is Frank Leal, the sophomore we told you about, who plays safety, and he got in there and made a sensational tackle. .2:12 to go in the first quarter. We have a 6-6 tie. So Redwood takes over, both teams scoring on their first drive. Backs are split this time for Redwood on 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Muniz may not like what he sees, and he calls a timeout. No, it's a timeout by Tulare Western. Let's count their players. They have 10 guys in the field. 10 men on the field for Tulare Western at this point, and I wonder what that was all about. Pat Plummer on the field now, and he's going to talk to someone. I think he's going to ask Hinojosa about what might have happened there, because they ended up with 10 men on the field. And Redwood, when you've already scored a touchdown with what looked to be a fair amount of ease, you don't want to start your defense on the field with 10 men.
Dave, with 2:02 to go, first quarter, it's 6-6, and tonight's game is being brought to you by Ritz Photography in Tulare, by Round Table Pizza, Merle Stone Chevrolet, by Ely Auto Parts, Dennis Beck's Hamilton's Pharmacy, all in Tulare, also by Frank's Liquor in Visalia, and by Santa Fe Tire and Wheel on KCOK News Talk, and also on Sequoia Cable Community Channel 24.
Redwood on their own 25 will start 1st and 10, and they will see how they can move it downfield. The Mustangs, you've got to wonder a little bit. Last week against Edison, they played a spectacular defensive game, and yet Redwood went right down the field this time off them, and that has to be a matter of concern. We'll see where it goes from there. There's the 4-man front with 4 linebackers. They give it on draw to Gonzalez, tries the left side, penalty flag down. He's being chased. Gonzalez gets to the outside. He's across the 30 and out to the 40. He finally goes down. Leal, among several others, chase him out of bounds. It would be a gain of 17 yards or so, but the flag is back around the line of scrimmage, which often means something on one of the offensive linemen.
Possibly a holding.
Well, I was amazed by Gonzalez. He is supposed to have a fair amount of power, and he also went very quickly to the outside. He had 88 yards rushing last week, as did his partner Scott Martin. Martin went 82 yards last week, and Gonzalez went 80 yards in 15 carries. That was against Menachie, and Plummer indicated today that he felt that the Mustangs were probably a little stronger this year than Menachie, and that they could give a good shot, give Redwood a very fine ball game. And actually, he sounded very optimistic, and the way his offense looked on this first drive, you got to understand why. They really looked impressive, even with the sophomore quarterback Salazar. He handled the pressure well. A couple times had a heavy rush and ran into no major problems with that. Hinojosa goes out to the right side as a single back defending over there. Muniz looks for a quick out. He's got a man. It's bobbled and then caught on the 22-yard line. Good catch by Norman. Norman at the 22. That was a first down and 25 after a hold. And that is a gain of about 13 of those yards back, out to the 23-yard line.
Nice little juggling catch over there. It was very, very close. The official right on the scene, and a nice job to get the foot down. Just one foot needs to be down inbounds with control of the ball, and he did that very nicely. And keep track of these quarterbacks. Muniz now is 4 for 8 in the game, 50%.
Single receivers on each side. To the near side is Hogan. Muniz back to pass, looks to the far side. And he's got Donald out there, a sliding catch on the 35-yard line. Should be just past the first down. That it is. A pickup of 13, so Redwood gets out of a first down and 25 hole with 2 nice plays to get out to the 36-yard line and a first down.
That was another great throw by Muniz, and just right on the money. Just a perfect, threw it on a string, as they say. Very, very strong arm. He's a great-looking quarterback, isn't he?
He really is, and of course we saw him 2 years ago when he was a sophomore. And for a sophomore quarterback, he was good, but you would have to have used the qualification for a sophomore quarterback. But now he's just a plain good quarterback. He may be one of the best in the valley. I know he was a runner-up for All-League last year. This is a sweep, run to the outside for not much gain. I believe Gonzalez on the carry, out to the 36-yard line. Scratch that. That is Martin out to the 37-yard line. Charlie Shamelby, the tackle for Tulare Western. 2nd down and 9 for the Rangers.
Charlie did a nice job of making that tackle, sliding over, and really coming over to make a great tackle and hold him to a very little gain, just a little over a yard. Nice tackle by Charlie Shamelby. Is that right?
Shamelby, that's
Shamelby.
right. Single receivers on each side. Norman to the near side, and I believe that's Donald on the far side. Muniz drops straight back to pass, pump fakes, looks downfield, he has trouble. Now he rolls out of the pocket. He's being chased, and he's going to go down. Well, it's still a gain out to the 39-yard line. Gain of 2. Essentially almost a sack, but he gets 2 yards out of it. And Marlon Morrow making the tackle out at the 39. 19 seconds to go in the first quarter and counting down. Tulare Western and Redwood, very, very even. The Mustangs giving the defending Valley chance. And the Redwood Rangers are ranked number 1 in at least one state poll as well. So the Mustangs really holding up well against that. But 2 long drives have eaten up a lot of time in this first quarter. That's part of it. Muniz back to pass on 3rd and 7. Over the middle, he's got a man bobbled and then caught. It's a first down. Acosta the catch out there into Mustang territory at the 44-yard line. A pickup of 20 on the play and the tackle by Frank Leal. Nice crossing pattern. And I tell you, Acosta was wide open on the crossing pattern. And we've come to the end of the first quarter of play. A timeout on the field, a check of the score. Redwood 6, Tulare Western 6. Sequoia Cablevision backs are split on 1st down and 10 for Redwood. Muniz, the bootleg, now he's in trouble, stops, steps up in the pocket, gets away from one more man, and now he goes under a sea of Mustangs back on the 45-yard line. A loss of 12 yards on the play. Parker was there. Lots of other fellas. Charlie Shamelby was there, and we'll get some of those other numbers. Frank Leal in there, too. It may have been a safety blitz. So it was a number of players getting in there back on the 45-yard line to sack Muniz.
Super job by the front line of that Mustang defense. They really got in there. They've been doing that the last few plays, getting some pretty good pressure, making some good defensive plays, stringing it out along the line. And that time they were all back there to gang up on Muniz.
Wide to the far side goes Hogan. And Norman is also over there on 2nd down and 21, a passing situation. Muniz drops back to pass, steps up and throws over the middle. It is overthrown, almost intercepted by Leal. Intended out there for Norman and or Hogan, both running crossing patterns. It looked like Norman, the man around the 35 or 45-yard line, was the intended receiver, but well overthrown. And KCOK High School football is on the air now. Welcome to our listeners joining us from the San Francisco Giants game. We have 11:08 to go in the second quarter, and the score is Redwood 6, Tulare Western 6. Redwood scored on their first possession of the night, and the Tulare Western Mustangs went downfield and came right back. Neither team has, it's just been long drives, so far each team has had the ball once. Redwood now in their second drive, and they face a 3rd down and 21. Muniz drops back to pass. Penalty flag down. 3 of them. Steps up in the pocket, and he's going to be sacked. He is sacked for a loss by Perales back on the 38-yard line. And we'll see what the flags are all about as well. Shamelby in there, too. And if it's a penalty against Redwood, it will be a very, very lengthy 4th down situation if the penalty is indeed declined, which I'm sure it would be. 10:56 to go in the second quarter, a 6-6 tie. And so the Mustangs, who allowed the Rangers to go right downfield the first time, this time really hold. So we'll see. The penalty is declined. Our scoring play is an 8-yard touchdown pass from Muniz to Acosta for Redwood. And that was at 6:19 to go in the first quarter. And then a spectacular 29-yard touchdown run by Todd Henderson for the Mustangs. Henderson in deep trouble, and he managed to turn it into a touchdown. I'll explain a little more about that play in a moment. But first we have a punt coming up here for Redwood. And this is Acosta with a low spiral punt that will bounce on the 30-yard line and take a nice roll for Redwood down inside the 20, all the way inside the 15. And now we'll just have to let it roll dead on the 13-yard line. So that punt will end up being a net close to 50-yard punt by the time it rolls dead. In fact, we've got it at 51 yards down to the 13-yard line. So the Mustangs in somewhat of a bind here. The way they moved the ball in their last possession, they may not be in all that bad shape. Anyway, Todd Henderson scored his touchdown on a simple off-tackle play off the right side. Went about 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, was completely surrounded. He disappeared. We all gave up on him for being lost, and then he shot out the other side of the group of players there. It was quite a surprise and a great run for Henderson. Backs in the I formation. Dennis Story is the fullback. He's up. And Todd Henderson, the tailback. Give to Henderson, tries the left side, and he pushes his way out to the 19-yard line, maybe as much as a gain of 6. A couple of the Rangers got a hold of him from the right side of their defense. And it's 2nd down and 4 yards to go. Bianco in on the tackle for Redwood, among others.
Miguel Salazar, the starting quarterback for the Mustangs in place of the injured Ricky Ortiz, is 1 of 1, only threw 1 pass and completed 1, and he has about a 2nd and 4 situation now.
Jackson wide to the far side. Backs are split this time. This is the give to Story, the fullback. He tries the left side and does not get much. He gets out to the 20. They may give him forward progress out at the 21. And that will be all she wrote for Dennis on that one. Mike Phillips, the tackle for Redwood. 2 very long drives, and thus the Mustangs now, with 9:21 to go in the second quarter, are just on their second possession of the ball game, and they scored on their first one. So we'll see where they go from here. Now on 3rd down, tremendous forward progress given to Story. They marked Story out on the 22, and I didn't think he got nearly that far, but they gave Story a pretty good boost on the forward progress. His first carry of the night gets 2 yards, and it sets up a 3rd and short. Backs in the I formation. We'll see if the Mustangs keep it on the ground on 3rd and 1, or if they go for the pass from the I formation. This is the give to Henderson, who's in trouble in the backfield, and I'd be very surprised if he got the first. He was really hitting the backfield, and great penetration by the Rangers. Someone in there got to Henderson just as he was getting the ball. It might have been Andrew Vidak, but we're not sure about that. A couple of the Rangers hit it, but it was one man in particular who burst through and got Henderson in the backfield. Todd was able to get back to the line, and he was fortunate even to do that. It's 4th down. Punting situation. And that should bring into the game as punter Alfred Jackson. Now it looks like Anaya may punt. Oh, that is Anaya. Yes, Anaya is to punt. Okay, Anthony Anaya is the punter. And deep to receive for Redwood. Well, it should be David Acosta, or rather Brent Branco. High snap, goes over Anaya's head. It rolls down on the 1-yard line. Anaya up with it. He's in trouble in the end zone. He's tackled for a safety. So a high snap from center, and Anaya scooped it up on the 1. His momentum, he had to get back very quickly, carried him into the end zone, and he could not get out. Could not get out of the end zone. It's an 8-6 lead for Redwood, and the Mustangs will have to kick off from their 20-yard line. So a tough way to give away 2 points, but that's why you like to move the ball upfield before you have to punt. It's very dangerous punting down there, and you saw why there.
Anaya did the right thing, about the only thing he could do in that situation. Even if he would have got out of the end zone, it would have set Redwood up on the 2 or 3 yard line to go in for the score. So maybe under those conditions, if you have to have a high snap like that, the best thing to do is to fall on the ball wherever it happens to be. And he was trying to scramble out of the end zone, but took the safety for the 2 points.
Well, the one thing, of course, you don't want to do is start fumbling for the ball, because, of course, the recovery down there is either a touchdown or a soon-to-be very likely touchdown. And so it's simply a matter of Anaya needing to get the football first, then you worry about the safety later. The referee instructing Alfred Jackson about the finer points of kicking down there and about some of the things he might do on this kickoff. I don't know, but it almost looked like he was warning him about possibly going over the line and about not doing that. Jackson is going to punt off and not use a tee. That's a little unusual. You have to have a pretty good punter to do that. And here comes Jackson, try to get some height. He gets a pretty good high spot. Will come down around the 35-yard line, taken there by one of the Rangers. He gets out past the 45 to midfield. There's a fumble, a loose ball back on the 48-yard line, and the Mustangs recover. So a big break for Tulare Western. We'll see who gets off the bottom of the pile. Looks like everybody is patting somebody on the back there. I believe it's Marlon Morrow, but we can't be sure about that. But in any case, on the 48-yard line, the Mustangs take over with a big break there. So the break's going both ways now. R.C. Pyle on the return for Redwood, and he fumbled it as he was hit. Nice hit there by the Mustangs. Good hard-hitting football. Sometimes leads to turnovers. Down on the 48. The Mustangs take over on the 48 of Redwood. 2 receivers to the near side. Anaya is flanked in Ahosa wide to the right, the near side. Backs in the I formation. Salazar rolls out on 1st and 10 to throw. Looks upfield. He may keep it himself. That he does. He comes to the near sideline. He's across the 45, spins away from one tackler, and goes down around the 42. I would imagine that Pat Plummer would want Miguel Salazar to be a little bit careful. The backup, if Salazar gets hurt, is wide receiver Alfred Jackson. James Dudley, the tackle for Redwood. 2nd down and 4 for the Mustangs. And they're in a situation where Salazar cannot get hurt. Another passable backup would be, other than normal situations or circumstances, might be Pat Gerardo, but he is on the JV team, and so he's not available for action. So the backup is a receiver, and Salazar, who is very durable, still cannot afford to take a great deal of risks.
Might be also that Plummer told Salazar, if you're not real sure, run it, and he really didn't have anybody to throw to that time.
2nd down and 4. Salazar backs in the eye, rolls near side, looks to throw again. Throws an out and overthrown incomplete, intended for Jackson on the 32. Coverage over there by Pat Wallace. 7:15 to go, 2nd quarter. 8-6 lead for Redwood over Tulare Western. 3rd down and 4. Mustangs electing to at least look for the pass on both the first 2 downs here. On 1st and 10, of course, they didn't throw a pass, but they fully intended to. And then the pass there on 2nd down and fairly short. So both were at least borderline running conditions, and they went ahead and went with the pass, which may be the best thing of all when you have a quarterback who's inexperienced. Try to keep him out of situations where he has to pass. Now, they've only gone to Henderson once on this series, but we'll see if they go back to him. We have a timeout on the field taken by the Mustangs. They're 2nd of the half. Timeout on the field, 7:15 to go in the first half. The score, Redwood 8, Tulare Western 6.
It's time once again to play the Cable 24 Trivia Quiz.
Back at the Mineral King Bowl in Visalia, Dave Keller along with Bill Roberts, high school football on KCOK and Sequoia Cablevision. Back to pass, or Salazar gives off on the draw, and not much of a gain there to Story. A loss on the play on the 3rd down play, and it's going to be a 4th down and long situation, a probable punting situation for the Mustangs. Story did not get much in the middle of the line. 2nd quarter action, 6:59 to go and counting, an 8-6 lead for Redwood. The Mustangs had a chance on a big break where they recovered the ball in Redwood territory on the 48, but they did not make much of it, and we'll have to punt now. We'll see if we get a little lower snap this time. Anaya set to punt it away. He'll be standing on his own 40-yard line. And it doesn't look like there's anyone deep to receive for Redwood, so they may be setting up for a block, which they don't get. A very high kick. It will bounce on the 20, goes straight up in the air, and takes a pretty good roll for the Mustangs down inside the 15, where it is down just inside the 15-yard line.
That was surprising and interesting why there was nobody back for Redwood. Perhaps they were going for the block, but they really didn't seem to get that much pressure. Maybe they thought it was going to be a fake since it was in Redwood territory and there was absolutely nobody back for the Rangers.
Either that or, of course, they could have felt that the punt would probably carry into the end zone in any case, so they didn't want to try to make a fair catch down there by the goal line.
And risk another fumble.
A lot of possible reasons, but still a little surprising. You usually expect to see at least one person back there. If you had a sure-handed fellow there, a fair catch could have helped you by 7 or 8 yards. Backs in the I formation for Redwood on 1st down and 10. They're on their own 15-yard line. This is the give to the up man, Gonzalez. Gonzalez tries the right side. Doesn't get too much. Out to the 18. Gain of 3 on the play for Hector Gonzalez. .52 to go in the first half, a 2-point lead for Redwood, and they'll try to add to that on this drive, but they do start deep in their own territory.
Things have kind of settled down, haven't they? We came out and both teams took it right at the other team and marched right down. First possession, both teams went in for a score, and now both the defenses are beginning to wake up just a bit.
Single receivers on each side. Backs are split on 2nd down and 6. This is a give to Gonzalez. Or rather Martin. Martin breaks one tackle at the 20, gets outside to the 25, and goes down there finally. And if they give him his total forward progress, they may give him the first down, but they may have blown the whistle while Martin was still struggling around the 24-yard line. Frank Leal, along with a couple other Mustangs, in on the tackle. They'll spot it just short of the first down on the 25-yard line. 3rd down and a short one for the Redwood Rangers. Rangers 1-0 on the year. having, well, I guess slaughtered is the only word you can use. Slaughtered Menachie last week. What, 44-6 was it? Got the score here somewhere. Backs are split.
48-7.
48-7. First down for Redwood on the quarterback keeper. When he's trying that for the second time tonight on that 3rd and short. So the Mustangs will certainly make note of that. Another first down for Redwood.
Muniz, a Redwood quarterback who was 11 for 15 and 177 yards last week, as the Rangers do pick up the first down, is now 5 for 10 unofficially, and has right near 95 yards or so. So not a bad first half. It's amazing that for Tulare Western, as many times as it seems that Salazar's dropped back to pass, he's only tried 2 passes.
Being a little careful like we talked about. He's watching the situation. If there's a man open, he throws it. If not, he keeps it. And that's a good idea with a good running quarterback. This is the give to Gonzalez. Gonzalez gets past the line of scrimmage, out past the 30 to about the 32. Pick up a 4 on the play. Gonzalez runs with pretty good power. And it's second down and 6. 5'11", 186 pounds is Gonzalez. And he is a senior. So a fairly stocky build, and that's probably part of it, no doubt. Second down and 6 for the Rangers on their own 32.
And the Rangers may need to step up things just a bit because that clock is starting to catch up with them. It's 3:45 and counting.
Martin comes over to a flanker spot on the near side. Back to pass Muniz. He's got a rush. Now he throws over the middle for Martin. It is caught at the 40-yard line. A diving catch by Martin, the 40 of Tulare Western. And the coverage on the play by, I believe, one of the linebackers. We'll check on that. The coverage over there, Mike Martino. And it's a big first down. 28-yard gain. And first and 10 for Redwood. Nice pass by Muniz. If it had been you can say if it had been a foot shorter, it would have been an easier catch. But still, from that long a pass, you'll take anything you can get out there. And a nice diving catch by Martin. Didn't really come out of the backfield as he's somewhat flanked, as he is now. He moves over into a flanker spot on the left side. Single receivers wide on each side. Muniz straight back to pass. Heavy rush. He throws the screen pass, and it's incomplete to Gonzalez on the near side. Giving chase was Parker. Now, Muniz is pretty fast because Parker has decent speed, and Muniz was going almost as fast running straight backwards as Parker was going running straight at him forwards. So Muniz can really move pretty well. Second down and 10. Go ahead, Bill.
I'm sorry, Dave. I was going to say you would expect to see pretty much passes from here on in. I would think maybe a couple more running plays, but the clock is down to 3:16, and of course when you got a quarterback like Muniz, you got to take advantage of that arm.
They're going with a single man in the backfield. That is Gonzalez behind Muniz on second down. They give on a draw, breaks a tackle. Gonzalez comes to the near side, inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. Parker had a shot at him in the end zone and couldn't come up with a tackle. Finally, Anthony Anaya had to take care of him at the 33-yard line.
In the backfield?
Yes, in the backfield. It was not a perfectly clean direct shot, but still, a tackler as good as Parker will make a lot of those tackles. But Gonzalez is a very tough runner. I was just going to say Muniz, when he takes even a deep drop, drops straight back. He doesn't turn at all as he drops back. And that's always looks slightly awkward to me, but he doesn't seem to be out of control when he does it. So if it works for him, certainly he's going to do it. But he drops straight back. Looking for a quick out is Muniz. It is incomplete on the 28-yard line. That was Donald over there, a diving attempt to make you a catch in a host of the coverage. And it is fourth down. 3:05 to go in the first half, an 8-6 lead, and the Mustangs may have another shot at it, although it's quite possible that down on their 33-yard line, the Rangers will elect to go for it. We'll see what they do. Anaya comes out, so there must be someone in his place. They will go for it, the Rangers will, on fourth down and 3. Wide to the far side is Norman. On the near side is Hogan. Backs are split, Gonzalez and Martin. Back to pass Muniz, has some time, sets up the throw. Now he throws the screen pass. Has Gonzalez out there with some blockers. He'll have the first down and more down the far sideline. Inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Gain of 15 for the Rangers. Andy Hinojosa made the tackle, but a beautifully set up screen pass by the Rangers. Muniz dropped back, and he looked like he might throw downfield. It wasn't the classic where you drop back, and then everybody in the stadium knows it's a screen pass. He dropped back just in a fairly deep drop for a regular pass, and then threw the screen, and it was very effective. First down to the 20-yard line.
It was a very nice call. The Rangers, the play before that, went for the out for the first down, and perhaps the Mustangs looking for that again. They were kind of sucked in on that screen play.
Hogan wide to the near side. Backs are split. First down and 10 for Redwood. 4-man front by the Rangers. A quick out again. This is to Hogan. Hogan gets away from one man, catches it inside the 10, and goes down around the 1-yard line. Hogan caught it on the 14 and spun away from Alfred Jackson and got down to the 1-yard line. First down and goal for Redwood on the 1-yard line, gain of 19. And with 2:31 to go in the first quarter, the Redwood Rangers have an outstanding chance here to go up by at least, well, it'll be 8 points if they get the touchdown, and then more depending on what they do with the conversion. First and goal for Redwood. They only have to get 1 yard. With the kind of power running they've been doing, that does not seem like a very large task. Backs are split. Martin on the left and Gonzalez on the right. Muniz has been doing quarterback keepers from short yardage situations as well. This is the give to Martin towards the right side, into the end zone. Touchdown, Redwood. Scott Martin goes off the right side and into the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown run for Redwood. And the Rangers lead 14-6 with 2:13 to go in the first half. We'll see about the conversion. Muniz is the holder. They faked it last time, but now with an 8-point lead, they are more likely to go for the extra point to get that 9-point lead. Now, it's very early to be talking about how much you're going to be up and whether you can be tied or not. Here's the extra point attempt by Norman. It's up. Plenty of length and good. Slightly off to the right, but nonetheless good. And we have a timeout on the field. 2:13 to go in the first half to score. Redwood 15, Tulare Western 6. And high school football in Sequoia Cablevision as well. Set to kick off Tom Norman for Redwood, which leads with 2:13 to go in the first half, leads 15-6. And he'll be kicking off to Darren Crawford and Todd Henderson deep to receive. Crawford for the Mustangs may go into the end zone. He does, and it cannot be run out. If you will recall the high school football rules, Crawford looked like maybe he didn't recall the high school football rules. Either that or I think he just really wanted to run it out really badly. But in fact, you can tell he's not really happy about not having been able to run that out. But he had no choice. It was a fine kickoff by Norman, and he had to go into the end zone to get it. First and 10 for the Mustangs. They have 2 minutes and 13 seconds.
They do have time.
And in addition, they do get the kickoff opening the second half, so they'll have the first shot there as well.
Why is that a high school rule? Does that prevent injury?
I think it's because they want to confuse spectators and announcers when they watch pro games and then switch to high school
I think
games.
That's one of the most exciting plays in football.
Absolutely. It's very hard to picture why they wouldn't let a high school player run it out on that play, the exciting play that it is. First and 10, pitch left to Henderson, going to the far sideline, has some good lead blocking, gets outside, turns upfield, and goes out of bounds around the 25-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play for Todd Henderson. And Parker was out there. We'll try to see who else. Some good lead blocking.
Announcing the Mystery Channel.
Visalia, Bill Roberts, Dave Keller. It is 15-6, Redwood over Tulare Western. And here we go, set first down, Dave, for the Rangers.
On their own 39, they have it first and 10. Muniz, play action, steps up to throw. He's in trouble, gets away from one man, throws the long bomb downfield for his tight end Acosta, intercepted by Hinojosa on the 18. A great leaping interception by Andy Hinojosa. Acosta was open when Muniz threw it, but Adam got it a little bit up in the air. He had a chance, if he'd thrown it a little farther, to get Acosta on stride, but Hinojosa, with his speed, was able to get over there and make a leaping interception on the 18, and the Mustangs have it with 57 seconds to go. And here's a situation, Bill, where one of the options that the Mustangs have is to simply eat the football. On their own 18, they have no timeouts left in this half. They have 57 seconds with which to play, and they have a sophomore quarterback who just threw an interception. I'm sure they might want to be a little more careful this time, and perhaps we'll go with the running plays. Todd Henderson back in, still limping slightly. 2 men in the backfield. It is Story and Henderson. Flanked on the right side is Anaya. This is the quarterback, Miguel Salazar, looking to keep it. Comes upfield, big hole, breaks the tackle, out past the 20 to the 23. Pick up a 5 on the play. Pat Wallace, the tackle for Redwood. And 24 seconds to go and counting. I suppose as the last... Now, Henderson hobbles off the field again, and this will be a big story in the second half as to what happens with Todd Henderson. Anaya is also out, so if the Mustangs were going to throw the long bomb and go for that one shot, 7 seconds to go and clock running, one of their best shots was Anaya. This is Salazar in trouble in the backfield, and he's going to be sacked this time. This is one he can't get away from on the 22. And time expires. Gun sounds ending the first half of football here from the Mineral King Bowl. The score, Redwood 15, Tulare Western 6. We'll be back in just a moment. The Mustangs haven't moved the ball very well on offense after that first drive, and they have to keep the ball some and eat up some of that clock with their offense, not just with their defense.
Let me throw a couple of figures at you. Adam Muniz, the Redwood quarterback, 11 for 15 last week, 11 for 15, and 8 for 20 tonight.
Well, one of the things we said, or at least that Pat Plummer said, was that the Mustangs matched up well with Redwood in that Muniz would be throwing against very, very strong defensive backs, and that he is, with especially Anaya and Hinojosa. And so it's a situation where he didn't face defensive backs like that last week against Monache. He may have faced, in other areas Monache is strong, but in that particular area, he was not facing defensive backs at that level of ability. You're talking about guys who were all league last year as juniors and were outstanding as sophomores as well. And now they're seniors, and while they haven't, I guess you could use the word unfortunately they haven't gotten any bigger. They have gotten increased experience, and they're both better. Hinojosa is still 5'7", 145 pounds, and is an extremely authoritative tackler for someone that size. Really manages to lay a pretty good hit on. Rarely misses a tackle despite that small size. And Anaya is 5'8", 150, so they had that characteristic that frequently happens maturing early. You see that in a lot of high school athletes. They were very big when they were sophomores, or at least they were decent sized as sophomores, and they never really got any bigger, and that has hurt them some, but in ability they certainly have it all.
I think Plummer is very happy with the Tulare Western secondary. Well, we're set to go. The Tulare Western Mustangs get the ball first. Dave Keller with the second half.
Thank you, Bill. Tom Norman will kick off. And deep to receive, it looks like Anaya and Crawford. Anaya standing on the 1, will try to avoid going into the end zone, and he doesn't. Takes it up from the 1, comes straight across the 10. Big hole in the 15, he's out past the 20, and he is spun around and goes down on the 23-yard line. First and 10 for Tulare Western as we start the second half of play. The Mustangs in a hole by 9 points, hoping to dig their way out of it. Tackled by Bianco. And he had some help wrapping up Anaya. See what the Mustangs come with. We'll see. First of all, of course, we'll be looking to see if Henderson is back in the ballgame. He had an outstanding first half. And we'll see what else happens. Retiz, of course, Ricky Retiz, the regular starting quarterback. He has, the possible chipped ankle, also strained ligaments is the first diagnosis, and a possible chipped ankle, and that will keep him out of action for an estimated month. Todd Henderson's in the backfield, but he doesn't look comfortable even coming out of the huddle, and he wasn't running at all. So we'll see about that. Single receivers on each side. This is a pitch right to Henderson. Still running all right, but not with quite the speed he had. Turns upfield. He's across the 25 and out to the 29-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play. And it's 2nd down and 4 for the Mustangs. R.C. Pyle making the tackle for Redwood. And the new set of receivers come on. That is Jackson and Rodriguez. One word about Alfred Jackson. I told you earlier that he is the backup quarterback. If something happens to Salazar and he's not quite careful enough, it's Alfred Jackson who has to take over a quarterback. Something else a lot of fans don't know. He is the fastest man on the team. Wide to the near side is Jackson, flanked on the left side. The near side is Rodriguez, pitch right to Henderson the other way. Some good lead blocking, but he's in trouble in the backfield, and he still turns it out. He's past the 30, has some room to run down the far sideline, pushed out of bounds around the 42. First down and a gain of 13 yards for Todd Henderson. No, they'll mark him out on the 38, but still a first down, and a gain of, 8 yards or so. R.C. Pyle knocked him out of bounds. Henderson just doesn't look like he has quite that speed edge that he had in the first half, but I may just be imagining things based on knowing that he's hurt, but it doesn't look like he has the speed. Had some good lead blocking that time from Story, a couple others out there.
10:51 actually, running out of bounds, and Tulare Western's first drive here in the second half, an important drive for them to get something established in the second half.
Anaya wide to the near side, and he goes in motion now in 1st and 10. Pitch left to Henderson. Has some trouble out here. He tries to bull over one man, and he can't. There's a flag down, and Henderson is down on the 38. A loss of 2. In the arms of George Marquez went down Todd Henderson, but there is a holding penalty against Tulare Western, and these being of the 15-yard variety, I would imagine that even with the loss of 2, Redwood might take it. Although, in a situation like this, Bill, where you've got a passer on the other team who you're not sure is really going to want to throw much downfield, you might not be bad to take 2nd down and 12.
And that's the decision, I guess, has been made, and it looks like they will be taking the penalty.
Well, again, you've still got him in a passing situation. Salazar faces a 1st and 25 in that passing situation we talked about before.
You know, the Mustangs, the first few plays here in the second half, as the penalty is accepted, they've ran left and right, and the offensive line for the Mustangs has been blocking well, but at the same time, the Rangers have been stringing it out along the line of scrimmage and moving across. But it looks like the Mustangs think that maybe they can run wide on this Redwood defense.
Backs in the I formation this time, single receivers on each side. Salazar rolls out, looks upfield, throws down a complete pass. Great catch by Rodriguez on the 30-yard line. A pickup of 10 yards. Tony Rodriguez went straight up in the air to get that one, and Jeff Donald made the tackle for Redwood. Rodriguez really had to soar. Tony's 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he used all 5 feet 8 inches to get that one. Second down, and still a substantial amount of yardage to go for the first down. Second down and 20.
Yeah, that helps his quarterback out. Now 2 of 4 in the game so far is the quarterback Miguel Salazar.
Wide to the near side comes Anaya on second down and 20, and Ahoso on the far side. Backs are split. Second and 20, the Mustangs on their own 30. That's a flag possibly for too much time. Bill, I was going to say the Mustangs came out for the first 3 plays of this half. Tailback left, tailback right, tailback left, and reminiscent of much of what we've seen the last 4 years with the Tulare Western offense being very tailback oriented, and often not a question of who, but whether it was going to be right or left. Of course, when you have Lavelle Thomas and Hairston and George Jones and Chuck Bailey, there's a tendency to want to do that. 5-yard penalty, delay of game, back to the 25-yard line. Second down and 25 there for the Mustangs. Straight back to pass Salazar. Heavy rush. There's a blitz. It's a screen pass to Henderson. He catches it on the 17. One flag is down. Henderson down the near sideline across the 30, past the 40. Breaks a tackle and out to the 45-yard line. It would have been a gain of 20, but at the point where the penalty flag is down, often against the offense. The tackle by Mike Phillips. Some nice running. A beautiful play by the Mustangs. And one gets the impression it is likely to be called back.
And it is an illegal procedure. Perhaps somebody jumped a little too soon on that play. The flag went up immediately. That was a very nice call by Plummer. Those are the kind of things that you think about when you think about having an inexperienced quarterback. You try the sweep right and the sweep left, and if you don't get much on there, then your thoughts turn to maybe the draw in a passing situation, or perhaps the screen. It's a nice, safe play, and with the way they executed it that time, you can bet that you're going to see that again fairly soon in the second half. Illegal procedure against the Mustangs, and boy, they're getting a situation. You talk about situations where you might look for the interception. The Mustangs have to be real careful here because it's second and how many miles do you have?
30 yards. And a long ways to go. This is the longest set of 4 downs I've seen in some time. Salazar on the draw to Henderson. Henderson, if he can get outside, will have some room to run. He's being chased at the 20 and goes down on the 21. Some outstanding pursuit by Redwood. Getting over there to make the tackle, Brent Branco. Bianco in on the tackle as well. Pat Wallace was there. 9:12 to go in the third quarter. A 15-6 lead for Redwood. And it is third down and 30 yards to go. Make that 29 yards to go now on the 21-yard line. Not a bad call to draw in that situation. I wonder if, though, under the circumstances, the Rangers might not have been looking for that just a little bit.
Well, they certainly played it well. The Mustangs might think about maybe just getting a little better field position and punting the ball away and hoping their defense can do a job, because this is a bad situation for any team with this far to go.
Third down and 21, Anaya wide to the near side. Jackson on the far side. Salazar back to pass, looks downfield. He's got Jackson up there. Jackson leaps. He catches it at the 50. He's into the open and down to the 40-yard line. Great position play by Jackson down to the 37-yard line. A 44-yard catch. John Bianco the coverage, but Jackson, I'd look to be covered when that ball was released by Salazar, but I believe that Bianco may have looked back for the ball, and at that moment Jackson, with his speed, got into the open. As we said earlier, the fastest man on the team, and then in great position football, he got right in between two backs to make the reception, and the Mustangs are out of the hole down on the 37-yard line, maybe the 38 of Redwood. Both receivers to the near sideline, the left side, as the Mustangs move from our right to our left. Pitch right to Henderson. Some good lead blocking. Gets to the outside. He's inside the 35, down to the 33. Pick up a 4 on the play. Dennis Story over there leading the way. He doesn't get much credit. Tackled by Don Vaught. And you have to look at Henderson and realize that he's going to be a big back for these Mustangs. And that fullback for this team for 4 years has been leading the way. It was Rhodes for a while, and there have been others. It almost gets you forget them because you're calling the tailback so often. But on those sweeps, I'll tell you, Story is out there every time. First half, he had only 1 carry for 2 yards, and that's why they never quite get the credit. It's almost like having an offensive lineman there in the backfield leading the way. This is the give to Henderson, second man, big hole on the right side. He's inside the 30, cutting to the sidelines, gets inside the 25 and goes out of bounds with a first down. Down or inside the 20-yard line. They'll spot him inside the 20 at the 18. Pick up a 15 on the play for Todd Henderson.
And a real nice job by Henry Garcia getting out in front of that play and really providing some really crushing blocks on the Redwood Rangers. Very impressive drive by the Mustangs. It looked like we gave up on them. It was third down and 29 yards to go, and they made the first down, and here they're still driving. Very, very impressive.
I believe Henderson has come out. I see Darren Crawford in the backfield along with Story. This is the give to Crawford. Crawford, nice hole in the middle of the line. He goes inside the 15 to the 13. Pickup of 6. Second down and 4 for the Mustangs. So Darren Crawford enters and immediately gains 6 yards. So the Mustangs driving well with 6:57 to go in the third quarter. They trail by 9, but they can make this a very close ball game. Todd Henderson re-enters the game along with receivers Hinojosa and Anaya. Ball spotted down now on the 12-yard line where it is second down and 4, maybe the 13, second and 4. Salazar hands off to Henderson. Henderson hesitates in the backfield and bulls his way down to the 10 off the right side. And it sets up a third down and short for the Mustangs. Mustangs with a fairly inexperienced kicker. I guess that's fair to say since this is the first game in which he's ever played. An exchange student, and well, he's got his work cut out for him if this doesn't develop here. Plummer will have the opportunity, if he wishes, to go for a field goal and get back within a touchdown. Well, I would imagine in this situation, if he ends up with third and, say, a yard or a yard and a half to go, he could very well go for that first down.
The officials are counting the number of players for Tulare Western, and now, having been satisfied, they'll let the play continue and start the clock back
Couldn't
up.
figure out why those Mustangs were driving so well. Maybe they have 12 guys out there. No. Salazar to the near side. There's a rush. They're after him. He throws into the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Rodriguez out there on the goal line in the left corner. And that sets up the fourth down that we were talking about, and a tough decision for Pat Plummer, but I see no indication that he's going to send in Peter Vandenbroek. And there is a timeout called by Tulare Western. Timeout on the field, 5:39 to go in the third quarter of play. The score, Redwood 15, Tulare Western 6. Down and 3 for the Mustangs. Salazar throwing for the end zone, and it is incomplete, overthrown, intended for Anaya down on the goal line. Good coverage by the Rangers. They had 2 men over there for Redwood on the coverage. Branco was over there, and also helping out on the pass defense was Brian Betancourt. And they had that play well smelled out, so a tough situation for Salazar. When you set up that 4th down play, you hope that whatever you come up with will certainly give you no worse than decent single coverage, but the Rangers ended up with pretty good double coverage out there and didn't give Salazar much room to throw the ball. So the Mustangs, with a nice drive downfield, still come up short, and when you're down 9 points, it's difficult to do that, especially playing a team as good as the Rangers. This is a flag down to give to Martin, and Martin's in trouble in the backfield. In trouble to say the least. He was wrapped up and wasn't going very far. In there making the tackle was R.J. Zacconi. It's a illegal procedure penalty against Redwood, but we'll see what the Mustangs do with that. Given the final outcome of the play, could very well be declined. 5:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. High school football on KCOK Tulare and Sequoia Cablevision. I'm Dave Keller along with Bill Roberts. And with the 3rd quarter about halfway completed, a 9-point lead, the same 15-6 score that we had at halftime. And the Mustangs really hanging tough on defense. The Mustangs will take that penalty back to the 6.
Dave, I don't want to put you on the spot, but we saw that, talking about field goals and whether they might attempt at that long field goal in Hanford last week. We were watching that game. Do you remember the...
George Furtado, 52 yards.
And that's the longest one in...
Valley history.
Wow. And we were there.
And we were there. We didn't get his autograph, though. From the 6-yard line, this is a give to Gonzalez, pushing his way out past the 10. He gets out to the 15-yard line. A good run by Hector Gonzalez. Anthony Anaya made the tackle. There was a hole on the line of scrimmage, but not that big. Gonzalez, with that good combination of power and while still having pretty good speed, was able to get out past the 15 to the 16. Gain of 10 on the play.
Well, certainly the Mustangs don't want to see the Rangers just roar down that field and consume the clock and score again. That would make it tough. But of course, Redwood, that's what they want to do. They wouldn't mind using some of that clock and running their plays right down the field.
From the 16, 2nd down, Muniz looking to run. He's in trouble in the backfield and goes down on the line of scrimmage, the 16. It sets up a 3rd down and 5. Hard to tell if that was a broken play, although it looked suspicious, but it may have just been a fake where Muniz was trying to look like he was out of the play. And about 5 Mustangs said, yeah, you are out of the play. We're about to take you out of the play. It was, I would have hated to turn around and see that many big people standing around, all knowing that I had the ball.
Well, what did we see? Another outs for the 1st down for Redwood?
I wouldn't be surprised. Muniz throws that ball very hard, and he throws the out pass quite well. 3rd down and 5 from the 17. Gain of 1 for Muniz on that play. Drops straight back to pass, steps up, has some time. Now he has to scramble. He'll get the 1st down a little more. He's past the 22, sidesteps 1 tackler, and gets out to the 25-yard line. He was able to step away from Mike Martino before finally getting tackled out there. I believe Martino got in on the final tackle, along with help from a couple other Redskins. And a big 1st down. The Mustangs did a pretty good job of wrapping him up, but it just wasn't enough. On the 26-yard line, there are problems. 1st down and 10 for Redwood on their own 26-yard line. They lead 15-6. And wide to the far side. Both receivers go wide to the far side. Norman out there along with Hogan. This is the give to Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a nice hole on the right side, gets out to the 35-yard line. Pickup of 8. And it is 2nd down and 2. As Bill was saying a few moments ago, it was Gonzalez, or rather Furtado, who had the 2nd longest field goal in Valley history, 52 yards last week. And what you might not have heard about that, well, that was for Hanford against Hoover, was that the kick was good by, well, it's always hard to say. Anytime you see a kick over by that much, you say, yeah, it had 10 yards to spare.
It had 10 yards to spare, did it?
That's what it looked like. It really looked like it could have gone 62, which would not have been good enough for the state record. Somebody from Agoura.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah, he was from Agoura. Had a 64-yard field goal, and that was, I don't remember the year, but 64 yards, that's the longest in state history for a high school athlete, probably for a pro athlete for that matter. There is Gonzalez carrying off the left side, big hole, gets out past the 45 to the 48, a 1st down for Redwood. Martino in on the tackle, and he had help out there from Adolfo Salazar. Gonzalez really running well, and the Rangers, with their first possession of the half, are really moving it. Still in their own territory at the 48, but another 1st down. Gonzalez over 80 yards last week against Menachie, and he's headed for that kind of performance tonight. 38 yards in the first half, and so far in this quarter, 3 carries for 26 yards, so well on the way to that kind of performance. First down and 10. Redwood on their own 48. Muniz turns and hands off to Martin. Martin in trouble. Bounces off a tackler at midfield. Breaks into the open down the far sideline. Inside the 40, the 30. And he's tackled from behind by Hinojosa, who got over there at the 18. 2 great plays there. A terrific run by Martin, who ran into trouble and just bounced off like he was playing pinball in there. Bounced off a couple tacklers on the line. Got to the outside, and then it just blew past some Mustangs. It looked like he was gone. One of those things where you look at the whole field and you say, okay, nobody has an angle on it. But Hinojosa, despite not having much of an angle, got in there and made the tackle. A nice tackle by Andy Hinojosa, but nonetheless, a 35-yard gain for Martin.
You could put that back-to-back with a 29-yarder by Henderson and start yourself a bounce-off highlight film very easily here. Just 2 superb runs, and that one going for a little bit more yardage than Henderson's in the first quarter that led to it, that scored a touchdown.
Everybody in tight. Gonzalez straight ahead. Huge hole inside the 5, down to the 1-yard line. First down. Gain of 16 yards. Hinojosa the tackle, and he had some help down there from some of the linebackers. Leal was there from his safety spot. And it is a 1st and goal for Redwood. Boy, all of a sudden the holes on the line are getting bigger and bigger.
That line is really firing out, and that was a very large hole on the left side and plenty of room to run through. That's 2 great jobs in a row, super jobs by that very, very powerful, at least in this drive, the Redwood Ranger front line.
The backs are split on 1st and goal from the 1. Muniz is good at the keeper. Last time they went from Martin from in close. This time it's Gonzalez. Huge hole. Steps over 1 tackler into the end zone. Touchdown, Redwood. Hector Gonzalez goes 1 yard. Maybe give him, well, between 1 and 2 yards anyway for a touchdown. With 1:37 to go in the 3rd quarter and a 21-6 lead for Redwood. The conversion team comes on the field, and we'll see what happens with this. That puts the Rangers up by 15 points. With an extra point, they can go up by 16, and it takes 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions just for a tie for the Mustangs. Norman to try the extra point out of the hold of Muniz from the 10-yard line. There's the snap. It's placed down. The kick is up. And it is good. We have a timeout on the field. 1:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. The score, Redwood 22, Tulare Western 6. Hard time with them. That's Elmer Fudd. All right, Redwood Rangers, who lead by a score of 22-6. A kickoff coming down to Anaya on the 1-yard line. He almost steps back in the end zone and does not. Comes upfield across the 15 and gets out past the 20 to the 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for Tulare Western. And those kickoffs by Norman is something we probably haven't commented on enough. 2 to the 1-yard line and 1 into the end zone. Sal Sanchez, the tackle for Redwood. I was going to say the Mustangs did find a way to hold Gonzalez to less than 8 yards on each carry, which he had on that drive, and that was giving the ball on the 1-yard line. He got a 1-yard touchdown, but he was awesome on that drive. Carries of 10, 8, 8, and 15 yards until the 1-yard touchdown roll. I'll tell you, those 1-run touchdown runs kill your average. I think he'll probably take it, though. From the 22, Mustangs in the I formation. 1:15 to go 3rd quarter, and they need to get the offense moving now. Only 7 points scored last week, and just 6 this week now, and almost 3 full quarters of play. Salazar steps up to throw, throws the ball for Hinojosa, who's open, and he catches on the 35 and goes down to the 25 and fights his way down to the 20-yard line. Great catch by Hinojosa. George Marquez making the tackle, and Marquez guilty a little bit that time of looking back up for the ball and kind of seeing if he could time it instead of just getting downfield and knocking it down. Big gain on the play of 58 yards down to the 20-yard line, and the Mustangs have another big play and a nice pass by Salazar, although if he'd thrown it a couple yards farther, it would have been a safer catch and maybe even a touchdown. But in that situation, having to step up in the pocket, it was a very fine pass by Miguel Salazar. Wide to the near side comes Jackson. 1st down and 10 on the 20. Backs in the I formation this time. Single coverage on the wide receivers. The give to Henderson. Henderson trying to cut to the outside, spins away and goes down to the 17-yard line. Pick up of 3. Henderson still running pretty well. Marquez the tackle.
That last long pass with 34 and counting seconds as we're just about down to 1 or 2 plays left in the 3rd quarter, the kind that's floating up in the air and you say, well, that's going to be anybody's ball. And it did look like the defensive back kind of hesitated and looked for the ball, and that's all that the Mustangs needed to get that long 58-yard completion. And with the score here, they're right back in at 22-6 now, but driving again.
Of course, a lot will, if they are able to score the Mustangs, a lot will depend on the conversion. 2nd down and 7. Salazar back to pass, throwing for Hinojosa. He gets great position, catches a touchdown on the goal line. Touchdown, he goes in with it. Hinojosa fought for position on the goal line and then went up for it, a leaping catch, fell down in the end zone with the touchdown. George Marquez over there on the coverage again, wondering a little bit what happened, but he's facing a seasoned performer in Hinojosa who's been doing this for 3 years and knows how to get position on one like that. Salazar just lofted it up there. I think that's the kind of pass he wanted to throw, basically. And a touchdown with 3 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter from 17 yards out makes it 22-12, pending a conversion attempt here, which we would imagine, no, they will go with the kick, it looks like. So we will see Peter Vandenbroek try to get an extra point here. Soccer-style kicker. He's right-footed. He missed on his first conversion. It's placed down. It's a fake. Hinojosa rolls out. Lots of room to run. Cuts for the corner. Dyers has it. 2 points. Timeout on the field. 3 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. The score, Redwood 22, Tulare Western 14. Sequoia Cablevision. Pleased to bring you another season of the Tulare teams, mostly on the road. And of course we have the big finale, Tulare Western and Tulare Union, that coming up down at the end of the season after league play. This is a kickoff coming up with his Martin across the 20, out past the 25, a flag down as he goes down on the 29-yard line. Mike Martino, the tackle for the Mustangs, and then we'll see about the penalty flag as well. We'll wait and see about the penalty flags. Meanwhile, time has expired in the 3rd quarter. And we will see what's going to happen. We'll keep it right here as we fight to see what's going on. That's hard. They're talking things over down there. And it looks like the Ranger players are retreating. So perhaps it is against Redwood. 22-14, the Rangers lead. They lead by 8 points. So the Mustangs are within a touchdown and a conversion. And they have done a good job. But this is a situation where Roger Kelly, the Redwood coach, and Pat Plummer are very good friends. And I'm sure that Pat would like an opportunity to finally win one. He has lost all 6 previous games with Redwood. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, because Redwood has it's a big school, big student body, and a lot of times the Mustangs are faced with a shortage of players, or sometimes they have enough players and maybe not quite the size that Redwood has. But sooner or later, with the good teams that the Mustangs have had, you would think they would have had a chance to win, and they've had some close games, but now they're within 8 points, so we'll see what happens here in the 4th quarter.
For everyone who's ever wanted to fly.
Down 10. Although they ran so well that 2nd and 10 wouldn't be a big obstacle for their running game either. This is a give to Martin. The first man breaks a tackle. He's into the open across the 20 and out to the 25-yard line. It will be marked very close to the first down. And if they give him the forward progress out there past the 25, it is a first. And Marlon Morrow made the tackle for the Mustangs. That should be a first down right on the 25.
And if Morrow hadn't been there, he would have gone a lot further. There was only one other man that had an angle on him, but Morrow came across and made the tackle, saved a lot of yardage there. But that was a quick right up the middle, quick opening play, and nice job. Straight up the middle, good. Once again, offensive blocking, opening up another hole. Redwood, as the clock continues to run, 11:30 and counting, and 22-14, Redwood in charge.
Well, these Rangers have some phenomenal running average per play here in the second half, up over 10 yards per carry. Really doing a great job. I mean, he's looking for a quick out. It's got a man out there. It's incomplete. Intended for Tom Kajioka, and incomplete there, coverage by Hinojosa. 2nd down and 10. And again, like we said, if you're going to run the ball the way the Rangers are running it, you have the luxury of throwing on 1st and 10. You can get away with that. 2nd and 10 is not long yardage when you're running like this.
Might also watch him at a lot of quarterbacks, to them is a quarterback dream, and having that receiver. They've done a lot of those outs, and with Hinojosa and the other defensive backs coming up quick, maybe trying to stop those outs, you might see the quarterback call for one of those receivers to take it upfield and try to hit him on the long pass.
From the 25, 2nd down and 10. Norman and Hogan wide to the far side. They give it to Gonzalez. Spins away from one tackler. Gets out past the 28 to the 30-yard line. Gain of 5 for the Rangers, and Gonzalez. Robert Perales making the tackle. He had help there from Adolfo Salazar, and it's 3rd down and 5. What the Mustangs are having trouble doing is getting any kind of penetration, and so Gonzalez has a full head of steam by the time he hits the line of scrimmage. Usually one of the Mustangs gets his hands on him at the line of scrimmage, but that's tough to stop him when he's got that full head of steam up. And so the Mustangs have got to get more control of that line of scrimmage and start making the plays down there. They have a four-man front, and they got to start to control it a little bit. Back to pass now is Muniz, looking to throw, steps up in the pocket, he's in trouble, and he's sacked. Loss of 5 yards on the play, back to the 25-yard line, sets up a 4th down. Rudy Maldonado making the tackle and the big play for Tulare Western. Muniz had some pressure on him, but then he had time to step up and find a man, and the coverage downfield just simply had to be marvelous because Muniz is an experienced enough quarterback that if anybody was open, he probably would have spotted them, and you have to think that the coverage was spectacular. That gave Maldonado a chance to get away from his man and make that sack. Anthony Anaya back to receive the punt, and with 9:56 to go in this ball game, the Mustangs will get the ball back with a chance to tie things up. Here's the punt away by Acosta. Anaya calling for the fair catch and bobbles it as he catches it. There may be a flag as there's a hit after what appeared to me to be a fair catch. On the 47-yard line, there'll be no flag. Bill, I don't know if you saw the contact, but I am surprised. It was Tom Norman who ran into Anthony Anaya, and Anaya or Hinojosa is arguing about that, I think. And I think they're saying that they just kind of bumped into each other, and of course Anaya was moving when he caught the ball. That may have also been a factor.
Well, there was a clear signal by Anaya putting his hand up and waving it, and Norman came down and did jar him, but really didn't go through with the hit and tried to keep him up. Yeah, that's the one you can call it, but I would agree with the official in that instance. Norman tried to stop and really tried to lessen the impact, and really that's the type of thing, no harm, no foul, and the officials didn't call it.
Again, I think the fact that Anaya was still moving forward pretty rapidly when he caught it might have had something to do with it, too. 34-yard punt by Acosta, and the Mustangs take over on their 46-yard line. Salazar back to pass, rolling out, in trouble now, steps up, throws an ill-advised pass. It's up for grabs, batted away, incomplete. Two of the Rangers collided going for it, and either one of them could have had a fairly easy interception. Over there going after it were Robert Beach, and he had help, so to speak, from Jeff Donald. And I'll tell you, Salazar turned around and threw a blind pass, and that was simply a sophomore mistake. Never should have been thrown. I would have loved to have seen Pat Plummer on that play, to see his reaction when that ball went up in the air. No Mustang. It's hard to even figure who the receiver might have been. Now, there's a Mustang hurt down in the field, and we will try to figure out who that is. It's 2nd down and 10 for Tulare Western on their own 46. We'll keep it right here as the trainers go over to talk things over. The Rangers break their huddle like they're all ready to go here, but they're going to have to wait a minute because there is an injury. 9:39 to go in the game, a 22-14 lead for Redwood, but he's able to walk off under his own power and sit down. He goes both ways for the Mustangs, so that if he cannot return, he is indeed a serious loss.
I think Anaya was one of the players that was diving for that after it was tipped up by the Rangers, so he may have gotten injured somewhere along the line in there.
From the 46, 2nd down and 10 for the Mustangs. Backs in the eye. Salazar almost stumbles. Now he laterals out Henderson. Flag goes down. Henderson in trouble in the backfield. He drops the ball. It's loose, and it's recovered by the Rangers. Coming downfield with it is Branco, and the ball is dead now inside the 40-yard line. The Redwood Rangers have taken over. And we'll see about the penalty flag, however. But if it is, of course, against the Mustangs, the Rangers will decline it.
Well, the referees are now pointing the other way, and they'll have to sort this one out. That really, everything went wrong. The last couple of rounds, they are saying that it is the Redwood Rangers' ball. As all the Rangers jump up and come to the sideline. But tripping out of there as it came out from under center was Salazar, and then on the pitch, it was almost thrown away there. And then finally there was a fumble on the end of that play. It just never got started right. Everything went wrong, and a lot of that, to give credit to that Ranger rush, the last couple of plays they put a lot of pressure in forcing the Mustangs into mistakes. So a very critical turnover for the Mustangs.
Redwood takes over on the 37 of Tulare Western in a situation with 9:28 to go, where on a drive of this short, this close to the goal line, starting from where they are, it's hard to run out much of the clock, but they will probably keep the ball on the ground and see where they can go from there. I believe this is Martin who goes straight ahead down to the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Rudy Maldonado for Tulare Western, and it's 2nd down and 8, a gain of 2. And that is one of the first plays of the second half where the Rangers have run and not run for substantial yardage of 8, 5, 8, 10 yards or more. On the 35, 2nd down and 8. Norman goes wide to the far side. Coming over to the near side is a single receiver. Backs in the I formation. That's Hogan on the near side. Backs in the I formation. Muniz back to pass. Looks downfield. Throws for Gonzalez, who's wide open on the 25. Catches it. Goes inside the 20 down to the 15. He is tackled by Darren Crawford. And he had help over there from Dennis Story. But it's a first down for Redwood. And a gain of 22 yards down to the 14-yard line. And it is first down and 10 for Redwood on the Tulare Western 14 with 8:38 to go in the game. Beautifully set up play. Boy, Gonzalez was open. And Muniz did not make Gonzalez work for it. He put it right there.
Rangers have a chance to, as they break the huddle, and now, well, the officials are signaling that they want a timeout. There's looks like an equipment problem, as they say, and looks like an untied shoestring for the Mustangs. The Rangers will have to wait, but a chance for Redwood to almost put this game out of reach as the time becomes critical. 8:38, they're up 22-14. Another touchdown would put them in really good shape.
Kajioka wide to the near side and Hogan wide to the far side. Single coverage on both of them. The big responsibility on Hinojosa and Anaya. Muniz back to pass. No, he gives on the draw. That is to Gonzalez inside the 10. Cuts into the end zone. Touchdown, Redwood. Hector Gonzalez goes 13 yards into the end zone for a touchdown for Redwood with 8:22 to go in the game. And the Rangers lead by a score of 28-14, pending some kind of conversion attempt. And we'll see what the Rangers come up with here. It looks like they will go for the extra point. Norman out of the hold of Muniz. There's the snap. It's placed down. The kick is up. And it is good. Timeout on the field. 8:22 to go in the game. The score, Redwood 29, Tulare Western 14. This one down near the goal line. He's been outstanding so far tonight. This one not a good kick. It will bounce around the 15, and that is where Crawford takes it, cuts to the middle of the field, and dives out to the 25-yard line. First down and 10 for the Mustangs there. You're listening to high school football on KCOK 1270 Tulare and Sequoia Cablevision. Pleased to bring you all these games this year. And, of course, next week, as we said, 2 games. We've got Tulare Western and Golden West, and I believe the other is Tulare Union and Mount Whitney. So we'll get a first look at the Mount Whitney team that is not expected to be quite as good as this Redwood team is, but it's so early in the season, and as Roger Kelly was telling me today, so many of those predictions made on the basis of what happened last year. And of course, the Rangers were Valley champs, and they have a lot of returning starters, so there's a tendency to pick them. But he says his team's good, but he's not sure that they're as good as everybody says. #1 ranking in the state, etc. Miguel Salazar rolls out. He's in trouble, and he's sacked from behind. Branco getting in there with a blitz. A loss of 7 on the play, and it's 2nd down and 17.
Talk about getting some experience fast. Salazar is going to see that the rest of this game. He's going to see a little bit more coverage, perhaps some double teaming on his receivers, because Redwood's going to let him have that short stuff. There's still time in the game, but it's fast running out on the Mustangs. And of course, Salazar is going to see some blitzes possibly. He's going to see a lot more pressure, and he's really going to learn a lot, I think, in the last 7 minutes or so.
Well, if the line can continue to play well and hold out for him just for a little while longer, give him a little more time to throw, he'll do well. Most of his passes today have been on rollouts, sprint outs. He's in trouble again. Branco after him, and he's tackled again in the backfield. Another sack by the Rangers back on the 9-yard line. Getting in there and making the tackle was Ralph Vargas. Scratch that, make that Mike Coolmoose who made the tackle, but another loss for the Mustangs. They're deep in their own territory at the 9-yard line. Loss of 8 on the play. That sets up a 3rd down and 25 yards to go.
Well, we kind of almost counted them out on, remember that last third down, and what was it, 3rd and 29 a little bit earlier, and an amazing play by Salazar came up with a long pass. He'll have to do something similar to that to get out of this kind of a situation.
Well, he has done it before. Let's see what he does now. On 3rd down and very long, Salazar in trouble in the backfield, steps up, breaks a tackle. Now he's going to run it. He's out past the 10 and goes down on the 11-yard line. Tackle made by James Dudley, and it is 4th down and very long, a punting situation for the Mustangs, who trail by 15 points with 6:03 to go in the game. 29-14, the Redwood Rangers lead.
And the Rangers, they knew the situation, that all they had to do was not worry too much about running. They knew that Mustangs had to pass, and they put that that defensive line in high gear and just went right after the quarterback and did a nice job on those 3 successive plays.
So a punt ready to go here. Jackson standing in his own end zone, gets away an end-over-end kick that will bounce on the 40, bounce straight up in the air. Branco looks at it, will now let it roll dead. Martino will down it right around midfield, give it a little boot into Redwood territory. I don't think that goes.
It's called football.
That's what it is. That punt ended up being credited with about 40 yards, but still, it was a matter of mostly roll. Punting is funny that way. Sometimes the great punts that stay up in the air a long time and drive the receiver deep lead to big returns, and you'll hit one a little funny and no one can return it. It works out like that. 5:23 and counting to go in the game. The Redwood Rangers leading by 2 touchdowns and a little more from the 49 of Tulare Western. Give to Gonzalez, big hole off the right side, breaks a tackle at the 45, still on his feet at the 40, down inside the 35, a 1st down, and a gain of 15 for Hector Gonzalez. Frank Leal, the tackle, and I'm going to have to try to figure out how many yards Gonzalez has, because he may be up over 100 now.
But he certainly got some big chunks. It's not like he's been running the ball all night, but he must be averaging, what, near somewhere, maybe over 10 yards per carry.
Well, certainly in the second half he's up around there. He's got 8 carries in the second half for 76 yards, so very close to 10 yards a carry. He didn't do that in the first half, but he's up over 100 yards now as Hector Gonzalez. 114 yards in what we've got as 14 carries, so an outstanding night for Hector Gonzalez. In the I formation now, 1st and 10, pitch left to Martin. Martin coming to the near sideline inside the 35, trying to turn the corner, and goes out of bounds around the 28-yard line. Thrown out of bounds there by Crawford with help from Dennis Story. Gain of 6 on the play, and Scott Martin's a little shaken up. He landed on the, I believe that's either the long jump or the pole vault track. The harder material that the player, what do I want to call them, the pole vaulters run on, and that had to hurt a little bit. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5. Clock running 4:43, and things looking a little tough for the Mustangs now, but the Rangers really have things rolling. Wide to the far side is Norman on 2nd down and 5. Backs again in the I formation. This is a give to Gonzalez. Gonzalez just straight ahead. Not much to it, but a 1st down inside the 20 down to the 18 before the tackle was made by Robert Perales.
They just seem to get stronger as the game wears on, don't they? Every play they seem to be coming out just a little bit faster, if that can be possible. But they really seem to be improving throughout this game, and Redwood's going to have a lot going for them this year. They've got Redwood's going to have a lot going for them this year. They've got tremendous passing. They've got the top-ranked receiver coming back from last year, and the runners are spectacular too. It's a very, very fine football team for the Rangers.
That's a Redwood team that is supposed to be inexperienced in the offensive line area, and look what they've done tonight. This is a pitch right. This goes to Branco. Branco turns upfield inside the 20, inside the 15, down around the 14-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play as Brent Branco entered the game. Not Miguel Salazar. Someone else made the tackle. It was Miguel Salazar. Salazar was originally slated to start at a linebacker spot for the Mustangs, and he was then moved to quarterback this week because of the injury, so he was replaced at that position, but now he's in there. Remember, Anthony Vallejo went both ways for at least a couple of years for Pat Plummer, and even though you hate to have your quarterback do that, it sometimes is a matter of necessity if you have an athlete of that stature. 2nd down and 6 for the Rangers. Give to Gonzalez. In trouble on the line of scrimmage, and this time he is stopped. Somebody made a tackle the first time and got it right. And I believe the man who wrapped him up around the ankles was R.J. Zacconi, and that was one of the few times that he's been grabbed there and not broken away. Rudy Maldonado went on the tackle as well. And it's 3rd down and 4.
Clock still runs, 3:15, 3:14, and the Redwood Rangers will go so far undefeated 2-0, and if it continues this way, barring some miracle, the Mustangs will be 0-2.
Branco was in from Martin, so he's along with Gonzalez in the backfield. The give is to Branco, spins away inside the 10 down to the 8. Be surprised if as the years went on, if Salazar developed into the starting quarterback in the next couple of years. That they want to let Miguel Salazar have a chance to just play that position and not worry about linebacker. But ultimately, they may feel he can go both ways, even at a fairly physical position like linebacker. It is indeed a first down on the 8-yard line. First and goal for the 8 for the Rangers. Backs are split. Muniz gives straight ahead to Gonzalez. He spins down to the 5-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the play. Clock running at 2:22 and counting, as Redwood has a 2-touchdown lead and threatening to add to that.
And they're not going to really, I don't believe, worry about getting the ball in the end zone. Of course, they'll keep trying to move it forward and keep that clock running. The main thing they're concerned with is keep the clock running. They've got the cushion, 29-14, and I'm sure they'll just take their time on these plays, and if they get in the end zone, fine. If not, they'll run the clock out and take the win as it is right now.
Kagioka wide to the far side. Bianco in the backfield now, along with Branco. This is Martin straight ahead off the left side. He's down, pushed all the way back to the 9, but he may have gotten down to the 5. Mustangs really getting physical down there. They took Martin and just threw him back. Well, they're a tough defensive team with a lot of pride, and I think maybe they feel they could have done a little better tonight than 29 points if the offense had a little more in the way of long drives. And except for that first drive of the game, the Mustangs have never really had a long drive. The other ones were keyed more by some big plays. And I think the defense is probably a little frustrated. They know they've played a better game than a 29-point ball game, and it could soon be a 36 or 37-point ball game. Third down and 5 from the 5-yard line. Backs are split, single receiver wide to the far side. This is the give to Branco into the end zone. There's a penalty flag down. It's a touchdown for Branco, as Brent Branco found a big hole on the right side, but we'll see about the penalty flag. 1:06 to go in the game. As the officials talk things over, it's a hold against Redwood, and that will move them way back. So that may deprive Redwood of a chance to add one more touchdown onto their total, but at the same time, they will still face a third down, and it'll be an interesting decision here as to what they want to do. I know that the last thing that Roger Kelly would do, not necessarily to anybody, most likely to anybody, and certainly not to Pat Plummer, is try to pile on the score at all.
There's no question that he's not doing that.
He's definitely keeping on the ground.
Dave, we'll see Tulare Western back here next Thursday night against a team that we've never seen.
And that is Golden West.
The Trailblazers.
That sounds like a quiz.
What team have you never seen?
I can name a few. Mike Donald wide to the far side. On the near side is Hogan. On third down, maybe a passing situation now on third and very long. Muniz hands off to Martin. Big hole. He's inside the 15. And it will be fourth down on the 13-yard line. Mike Martino, the tackle. Bill, one of the things we saw Hanford do last week, and I don't want to knock it. In fact, it was on that record-breaking field goal. Hanford already led 42 to, I believe, 7. And they went for the field goal in the fourth quarter, or maybe late in the third quarter, one or the other, leading 42-7. And that struck me as wrong, even though it did give their kicker, Furtado, a chance to try a 52-yard field goal, which is good for experience. It's one of those things I just don't like to see in high school football. And I really like the direction that Roger Kelly has taken here. He's going to, keep the ball on the ground, try to get the first downs, and do what he can with it. And I think that's the way it should be.
I think
58 seconds to go.
I'm sorry, there was a personal foul, I believe, called on the Mustangs. I think even Kelly was, not that you like to see penalties, but he didn't really mind seeing a Redwood penalty, I think, if you ask him, because it just gives him the opportunity to run the clock out, and that's all he needs to do. He doesn't really need another score anyway. There's plenty of points up there for Redwood to win the game. But as it turns out, they're right back down on the 6-yard line, and you can't take the ball down and fall on it and give it to the other team and let them score. Some strange things have happened. You got to keep cranking it out. But They are very much in command, 49 and ticking, 29-14. Redwood leads it, and a 4th down play.
4th and goal from the 6-yard line. The backs are split. This is a give to Branco. Branco trying to get into the end zone, can't quite do it. Comes up short on the 2-yard line, and that's where the Mustangs will take over with 35 seconds to go. It doesn't make a great deal of difference, but I believe they have either all their timeouts or 2 of them, and a situation where I certainly can't see just putting the ball up for grabs here. I would think they'd probably run a couple plays, but just see what happens. But if they want to, they don't have a lot to lose by going for